Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and niggas talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo won't make a kill.
All right, let's see if I can get this going right. Cameraman, you might need to move my camera, pan it to the left just a little bit. I'm a little.
Did I not fix your camera?
I mean,
my fault.
Are you trying to assert dominance now? Is this your?
No, it's not.
We started early. It's right. They're about to box over here.
Listen. That's my fault. That's the cameraman's fault. I will fix that pronto. So
I appreciate that.
I got you.
All right, go
I
ahead.
want to see you box. And here's Judy.
Yeah.
There he is. Hey, buddy.
What's going on, Judy? You know what I'm saying? Got the broom and the trash can all in the shot.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. We got 54 people watching this happen right now.
Yep. And growing.
I know.
And they're like, what did we stumble into?
No,
You stumbled in Junie coming through.
This is going to be a unique episode.
What do you mean? Are we going to bash Bean and McDermott today?
No, that's every day.
Is it? Oh, wow.
I mean, that's what
this is the wrong show, I thought. Okay, never mind.
That's what people tell me. Yeah, we hate McDermott.
We don't
hate
do that
everything
here.
they do. Yeah, no. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
Just before the keys.
And we are back with another episode. Like I said,
you forgot about.
I'm so sorry. I'm so used to just
Hey,
doing
yo.
it.
Ayo in the building.
Ayo in the building.
Right. You see, but
We
he
already
took
know what it is. We already know what it is.
he took it upon his own, to
He got
make sure.
an
Right.
artistic license now.
Oh my gosh! All right, so look,
I want you forget about me, man.
No, never.
no, it's not.
What
It's
about
not. It's not
You
forgetting.
just got to get used to those sound bite. That's all.
You just get used to a certain flow. We've been
Right.
doing this for 2 years.
Right.
Well, we're gonna start fresh. We got a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? I got my intro. We're gonna have that thing in there.
We got
No
that
doubt,
thing in there.
No doubt. What? Wait. What are you going by again?
Producer Ayo.
The Ayo producer.
There you go. The Ayo producer. I love
Ayo
it.
producer.
I
He
love
does produce a lot of AOs. We'll see how many we get today.
You got a lot last time, so I don't want to hear it. You're gonna get more today.
Okay.
I know. I'm glad Billy D's here too, because I was thinking about him earlier today when I was putting the show together.
What's going on, Tom? This is going on. Laura, Billy D in the house. Who else we got in the house? DJ, what's going on? He says, I hope to chime in with you and talk about our Bills winning the Super Bowl to close out the old stadium and hang the banner in the new stadium, then open the new stadium with the second Super Bowl.
So can we build on that?
How do you build on that?
The topping ceremony.
That seems like the ending
topping
of a
ceremony.
very, very good movie.
No, the topping ceremony. Can we talk about that?
What's the
Why do we have that?
what is a topping ceremony?
Exactly. Only in Buffalo do you celebrate putting the last beam on the stadium. They had a whole shindig they put the last beam on the stadium and
They had a ceremony for that?
yeah, they put a tree on top of there and everything.
They're
It's a
still
Christmas.
behind schedule.
But focus on the positives. Don't worry about the negatives.
Okay. All right. Fine. Yay for the last beam that win it.
But what is the topping? So like, who came up with that? It's just like, okay.
People who want to celebrate stuff. Look, you know what? I realized we don't celebrate enough.
We don't.
We
gonna celebrate today.
Yeah, this show has never been huge on celebrations. Probably because the NFL has tried its hardest to take celebrations out of the game.
Thomas just blew a hole right in that topping ceremony. He said there's still like 10 more pieces of steel to put up there. His brother's working on it. So they were premature in the topping ceremony.
Oh
Great.
my gosh. Where's that button at?
Wah, wah.
All right, so I kind of wanted to start the show off with a statement. I have a prepared statement I'd like to get into if that's okay.
I just want to address what Tommy said about the top. He said he wanted to clear it up. They did it because the weather was nice. They did it early because the weather's nice. So just don't worry about the 9 beams. We don't need those. That's like those 9 screws at the end of your bike. When you put it together, you're like, I don't know where they go. We don't need them.
Those of you who are not here in Buffalo right now, if you're somewhere else watching this, it's gonna snow tonight. and it's mid-April. Well, first week in April, pretty much. Right, first week in April.
This is the typical Buffalo, y'all.
That's it. You see, I'm dressed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Roy said you got a PSA coming.
I know, Roy. You might like this, Roy. You might like this.
It's all about fantasy. I read his notes. All about fantasy.
Okay, you guys ready? Let's see if I can make it through this.
Uh-oh, you gonna cry?
So. All right. If you were having married sex, and every time y'all were both close to finishing, somebody broke into your house to steal something, would y'all be content with trying again tomorrow? Would y'all be happy y'all had those good 15 minutes of pleasure, but no climax time after time after time? Would you bother trying to have sex after a while? Or would you want to do something about those entryways the robbers keep getting in through? Maybe some more security features on the doors and windows, some cameras around the property, maybe a guard dog named Snatch. Maybe. Look, we all want to achieve the goal. I get that only one team can every year. But when I see the Rams and the Eagles achieve their goal in less than 4 years, it makes me look at what we've been doing for 9 years as some kind of sick joke. The goal is Super Bowls, period. If you're still enjoying being a top 5 team in the league, be my guest. But don't debate me on where the Bills are supposed to be. We have totally different goals for our football team, and the perspective here makes it obvious that some people can't settle for almost busting a nut every time we get busy.
I thought you were doing a Bluetooth commercial at first.
I just needed to get that off my chest.
I thought this was paid advertising.
What was that, dude?
No. I've been in this mode of just writing thoughts down.
Oh.
And this was something that occurred to me. Like,
I bet you did.
I think this is a very good analogy for where we're at. I mean, think about it. Like, you in the roles of loving, and you get to that point where like you can't hold it no more. You can't hold it no more, and all of a sudden you get disrupted. Your whole mood is done. You can't finish after that.
Listen,
what do you like? Real question for y'all at home too. Like, how long do you allow that to go on for before you just be like, I can't do this anymore? Either we stop having sex or we do something about folks breaking in while I'm trying to get it on.
I'm gonna crash out both ways.
Like, that's a real question.
I'm gonna crash out.
I don't even know how to answer this because I'm lost. Okay,
you're crashing out, Keith.
So
I might be having a meltdown.
I'm gonna break it down. The analogy comes from the idea that the Buffalo Bills are a winning team. I've had several conversations now with people on different platforms about the idea that the Bills are a winning team, right? And they do all this great winning, and we're supposed to celebrate that, and that's cool, right? And when they get to the playoffs, they win a few games, but they don't win the game, right? So in my mind, the game is busting that nut, right?
Okay.
Forgive me again. I'm just trying to make an analogy.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Now the roles of loving is the AFC East, the regular season. Like we gets it on good during that time, right? But once we get to the playoffs, we can't ever finish because somebody comes in and breaks in the house and
takes our moment from us.
Takes our moment from us.
Okay.
So what you're saying is that the Western is busting that nut.
I'm saying that in the last 9 years, everybody else except the Buffalo Bills have been allowed to bust a nut.
He's falling apart now.
I can't believe when I thought about this episode, I said, I'm just going to come in and get all the AOs out the way.
I saw the wide receivers. I was not prepared for this. I saw wide receivers.
You feeling bold about yourself.
Well, no,
you feeling bold about yourself. You said get them out the way.
Right.
They will get out the way because you know why? You got Key in the building, man. Watch out. You got Key in the building. So he got a whole bunch of AOs, so you already know.
Junie has mastered his 40 Keys impression, y'all. Just so you know what's going on right now. This is crazy.
But let's see if I can stay with you. Okay, so how long am I gonna? You know what? And I mean, in a weird way, I get it. I get it. I'm trying to go back to it. I'll just leave it nice and plain. Where my mind is, how long will you let people come in and sweep victory from the jaws of defeat? No, I'm not going to send me to pause. But and that's kind of where I was. You know, we talked about Kansas City, we talked about the Cincinnati Bengals, we talked about the Ravens, we talked about all these teams that were not good, and all the times that
Wait,
anyway.
what?
It's my by you.
Oh, we got my man Justice in the house. Come on in, bro.
We're talking about other
Grab a
times
seat.
that things were not good, and
What's up with you?
and
All right, so go ahead.
I'm just getting killed right here.
Why
No,
are you getting killed?
things that were not good, but teams that weren't good, but they became good while the Bills were still good, but not great.
Okay.
You know, where you got Detroit, who came on like game busters after they were a laughing stock in the league. Cincinnati actually had a good season in between when we, you know, so these teams are all coming of age and falling apart while we're still just doing this. We're still going, you know, and like I said, like we talk about all the time, it's one thing to be cool with, you know, with the ride. If you're cool with the ride, you're cool with the ride. But if you're cool with something more, if you're cool with win a Super Bowl contender, if you don't want to just be who you are, if you want to be better, you want to be at the pinnacle of your team, the pinnacle of the league, you have to do more. You got to be uncomfortable. And this team is they linger in comfortability, if you will.
Right. So just to clear things up for Steve, because he's very confused right now.
I was too, Steve.
What's going on, Steve? So the idea of the metaphor,
I bet you are confused.
Yes. Too. So KC would be the thief in this metaphor, and it wasn't the thief coming in and like the focus wasn't the thief coming in and stealing anything in particular. The metaphor was surrounded around somebody interrupting the climax for the Buffalo Bills. Right. Like with the throes of loving and being in that intimate moment is the regular season. The Bills get it on all the time in the regular season. They get to the playoffs and they start getting close to that pinnacle, close to that climax. And here comes KC to bust in the house and disrupt everything. And you don't get to finish. Right. So that was the correlation. It's not so much the theft as much as it is the interruption that a break-in would cause to what is supposed to be a very enjoyable moment.
Yeah, for you guys at home, I think we just went to PG-17. It's somewhere in there.
Whenever I post these on Spotify, it's 18 plus, and even on YouTube. Like I don't even play around. Like my children are in the other room right there, but the door's closed.
It's still cracked just slightly.
Is it?
It's cracked slightly.
They got headphones, you know,
they do their own thing.
Right.
Can I talk about that? Well, let's talk about that.
No, go for it.
Okay, so I don't know about your kids, but my beautiful young son, he's in bruh mode. Bruh mode. Everything's bruh. Like, dude, okay.
Brother right there.
Yo, he was playing the game earlier today. He was sick. So yeah, he was sick. He didn't go to school today. He had an issue yesterday, but nothing happened today. He's fine. But at any rate,
you get everything on this show. You get school updates.
You get school updates. You get contraception. You get yeah. So you know, so he's cooking and he's in the living room. He's like, "Hey, bro," and I'm like,
he's talking to you?
No, he's talking to his mom.
Oh, whoa. That's even worse. That's even worse.
So nobody says anything. Like, I mean, ma, but this is the kick. So he's burning up with his boy in the room. You know, him and his boy goes to church with him from time to time. And so they could, you know, she takes his boy back home in the car. Hey, bro, can we get some Timbits? His friend's talking to T now. We're bro. And then like they don't call us by Mr. and Mrs. Nothing. Is you know, and kids like tell his mom by her first name to have her son get on a game with me. I'm like, what do you call her? Does she want you to call her that? Because she's younger than us. But I'm like, does she want you to call her that? Huh?
I've seen that a lot, and that's disturbing.
They just be like, hey, yo, Key. Yeah. I'm like, fam. Excuse me?
Just say Mr. and Mrs.
It's Mr. 40 to you.
Right.
Wow.
No, joking.
I mean, I'm very surprised that he's still alive after he called T.
Oh, he be calling us. He be like, yo, T. Key wants to know if you're. Oh yeah.
Wow.
I need to have a chat with him.
No, it's interesting. I mean, it's a weird dynamic. We don't get mad at it. Well, T's serious about it. She's mad at him, but he knows when not to do it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I mean, listen, as long as y'all got boundaries, it works.
Yeah.
It works.
You know, we're pretty open with him.
Fair enough. Okay, so just so you know, I did a brief profile. I don't know what's going on with the monitors here.
I wiggle my mouse like that was me.
No, I did
sometimes.
I know. I did a brief profile of 5 receivers that I felt like, you know, are 2 of them are sleepers in my mind, but 3 I think everybody just about knows about. But I did a profile of 5 receivers that I think would be perfect fits for the Buffalo Bills right now. And part of the reason why I wanted to focus in on wide receivers is mostly because of some of the stuff that I'm hearing about where the corners are going to go in the draft, right? The top tier corners. And because that's such in my mind, because that's such a big need in terms of having a guy that is, and no disrespect to Benford, but is elite at the corner position in the ilks of a Derek Stingley and a Patrick Surtain. Like Benford, according to his contract, is kind of a step down from that, right? And I think the Buffalo Bills have already had that conversation with Benford, and that's why the contract is where it is. The money is always going to tell you where the team thinks a player is, and if that team thinks that's where that player is, chances are most teams are going to agree with the Bills. There might be some teams out there that feel like he's a better fit or like him more. That's cool. But in this particular case, the money puts Benford where he is. I want a guy that's even better than that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But
better. You need to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't need to go through that right now, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. Like that's where the thumbnail came up.
I got 12 wide receivers.
Good. We're gonna need every last one.
And I got it in spreadsheet form, Laura. I couldn't do a pivot table because I didn't have the time and the like limitations of the laptop here. But we need to be
able to do like some share screen stuff so people can see these spreadsheets you be putting out there.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, isn't it?
All right, what you got?
I did have a thought that I wanted to talk about. I was watching Talking Buffalo, and his premise, his title to his show yesterday was, is Terry Pegula getting enough recognition for the success of the Bills? And I wasn't really sure what that even meant. You know, I think in his mind, Brandon Beane's getting way too much credit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And I know a lot of people that watch this show do watch that show, and I was wondering if there's anybody in the chat sphere or otherwise that have any thoughts that in that regard. Because when I think about Terry Pegula, I think about almost like an offensive lineman. You know, you don't hear a lot about them, even the good ones, until they mess up. And I don't hear enough about Pegula. I don't hear anything about any owners all like that. You know, Jerry Jones, because he's a public spectacle. Mm-hmm. But the rest of them are kind of behind the scenes. And for me, you know, he's not cheap like previous owners. Yeah. Sorry, sir. And family of sir. But you know, he does seem to be kind of hands off. He does seem to kind of allow the people that work maybe a little too much to do their jobs and run the show. So I don't know if people. Okay, Steve, there you go. Right?
You gotta have an opinion.
Everybody with Steve, you know.
You have to have an opinion.
No, you
on
do.
This
you
show.
do. And I was curious because the guy he had on with him is one of his good friends, or what I think is one of his good friends, and he was like, "What do you mean? Why would respect for what? You know?
Yeah.
He's the owner. Wow, thank you. Whatever. And I mean, are we respecting him? Are we saying credit for keeping them Bills in Buffalo? Are we saying keeping them in Buffalo and not Toronto series? Are we saying not anything like Toronto series? What is it that people are going into this thinking that Pegula requires respect? I don't have an idea either way because I never thought about it, but I just thought it was something that people might want to think about. You like to be cerebral, so I thought I'd get your thoughts.
I'll put it this way. And I don't care what the backlash is of this either way.
Snap, here it comes.
Personally, looking at what has happened with the Bills over the last 9 years, let me just say on the positive side, I am very thankful that we have an owner that has deep pockets and is not afraid to spend the money, right? However, I might have enjoyed maybe, you know, having Trump and Elon Musk come in here and maybe just fire a few people if they're not doing the job the right way after the first 3 years. That is what I would covet in an owner. Somebody who not only has deep pockets, but is willing to, challenge or buck the traditional system in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think for where Pegula has tried to go, I think he fell in love with the Patriots culture very early in his tenure. You know, he tried to do things his way by bringing Rex Ryan here and trying to get some buzz and some money coming in. That didn't work. And he got sold the dream of having here what the Patriots had in New England for 20 years. And I think we are on the cusp of getting to year 10 of that. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know if Josh's peak can last that long. You get what I'm saying? To where the team can continue to just put everything on his back and have him carry the entire load.
Right.
That to me has to be something that an owner sees and puts somebody in check about that. And I don't think Terry Pegula is that guy. I think he's too emotionally invested in his relationship with Sean McDermott. And frankly, I think your point still rings true over the entire situation, which is he's still trying to figure out the Sabres. That's the reason he came here. And he can't seem to get a head coach and a GM in there to fix that situation. So he'll probably be damned if he's going to tear something apart with the Bills just to go for great when he's already got good. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just my thought on it.
Yeah. I mean, I can respect that. You know, a lot of it was stemming from, you know, his co-host, I guess you want to call it, said that he wants to hear Pegula speak more in terms of, you know, when his wife went down. Not so much we need to know what's going on with her health and all that stuff, but who's taking over, who's in charge, who's doing the day-to-day stuff that she was doing, you know. And I mean, I guess, but we all know, you know, Pegula has a supreme faith in being a McDermott. So for him, it was like, I still got my two guys. They're running the show. We're still winning. We got Josh Allen. And another premise that was brought up was that Pegula he lucked into Sean McDermott and lucked into Brandon Beane. And thinking about it, you know, I know we ride him a lot, and that's probably a pause. Whatever.
I'm glad you called.
No, you weren't even paying attention. I don't want to hear it.
No,
you weren't even paying attention.
You called yourself out.
I know I did because
Right.
you weren't paying attention.
No,
but anyway,
doesn't matter. You called yourself out, so it doesn't matter. You called yourself out.
But yeah, no. So I mean, you know, if we want to step back from what we were talking about earlier in terms of what kind of fans are we looking for? Are we looking to be? Are we looking to just be there? Are we looking to, you know, we could be a hell of a lot worse. We could have a hell of a lot worse set of GM and head coach. No, Rich, I'm not on Team McDermott yet, but I do know that there are guys out there that made a mockery of their team and screwed them for years to come.
Yeah. I like this thought because I am too. Laura says I'm very interested in how our minority share owners are going to shape the future of the Bills. I think I really do think that deal is twofold. I think a big part of it is I think Pegula is kind of realizing the gap that has taken place between the team and his responsibilities with his family. I think his responsibilities with his family are much greater now. And I think eventually it's going to get to a point where his heart is not in owning the Bills anymore. I truly believe that. And the reason for that is he didn't come here to buy the Bills. He came here to buy the Sabres. And we asked him, we petitioned, we pleaded
when he bought the Sabres press conference. So what about the Bills? He's like, because what them? I don't know.
Exactly. Realistically, it was between Pegula and Trump, and we did not want to see Trump and Bono or whatever.
Bon Jovi. Bono would have been nice.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day.
Maybe. I'm glad you know the difference because I have no clue. Both dudes be standing in front of me. I think they're the same person.
Bono be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know what that means.
Fisticuffs. Engaging in fisticuffs.
It did sound like something different, didn't it?
It did,
enough of your promos, okay?
Nah,
we've got enough of these promos.
Don't ever do that again. Oh wow, family. Clip that.
Clip it.
How are you clipping something live?
I know. Like, I'm supposed to do that.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, but I think the other side of that too, though, with having these owners in here now is you've got guys that competed at the highest level, and they know what competing at the highest level looks like from a staff standpoint to a player standpoint to a coach standpoint. I think they would be more equipped to look at what's going on in the building and say, man, this player is not really giving it his all, or this player is not really committed, or this position coach is taking the wrong approach, with the players in that film room, you know what I'm saying? Or the head coach, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to say it. I think, Tyler Dunne has said enough about the issues with Sean McDermott. So I think having those guys in office, so to speak, brings about a new conversation to be had at the table when it comes to the end of season evaluations. You know what I'm saying? They Pegula has somebody now that can look him in the eye almost at the same level and say, look, from our experience, these are the things that are off with the team right now. And you're free to address it however you want because you're the majority owner, but this is what we think you should do.
I mean, I guess. I mean, for me, I just thought it was a way to flex some more the payment of the stadium. That's everything seems like that's.
But why? Why? Like, okay, so we had this conversation.
I know
time. We did. I need to understand how an owner that has as much money as he has is going to make a deal like this. Just like okay. The man specifically said, if I needed more money, I can go drill another well. He's also got real estate. He's got all these investments that he can liquidate or pull from or whatever, right? And instead of doing all that, I'm going to sell a piece of ownership of the team. He could have went to brand deals. He could have went to naming rights. He could have went to so many other different avenues to get that money. But instead of doing that, he went to selling a piece of ownership.
I mean, the way I look at it, he sold 25% of the team to 10 different partners. So in is what 2.2%. And half of those are like firms. So those aren't even real people. They're just like trust almost. So I mean, you would think he would have somebody come in and give him, a word or somebody that's actually going to oversee the team. If that was the case, I really wish it was more football people, but I don't know. It could be, it very well could be. I don't have any intel on it, but it's just from the outside looking at it, it's interesting. It's happening as the price of the stadium keeps rising. They keep adding on stuff to the, so this is, this is his way of saying, you know what? Okay, I'll give you that, but I'm not going to, acquiesce so much. I want somebody to be in place to take the rest of this burden off my back. So like you said, when I'm 73, I'm out of here.
It's a mercy signing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So, all right, fair enough.
I mean, you could be completely right. I don't know. I just thought about it when I looked at it. I said, you know what? He's got Josie Altidore. None of these guys have really any ties to Buffalo. They don't have any ties to football. I have to look and see who the limited partners are that aren't real people. Let's see. We got Arctos. We got Mike
Arctos, ARCTOS.
That's some kind of firm. I don't know what that is. You got Rob Palumbo, Sue McCollum, Tarisha Gu, Rob Ward, Mike Jew, Tom Berger, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Josie Altidore. Arctos is
7 of those people are made up.
Right. Arctos, they don't even look real. They look like AI. But Arctos is it's a private investment firm that
fingers and stuff.
Right. They're just like, why does he have 6 fingers? Why does he have a disc on his hand? Arctos is a private investment firm that provides bespoke growth and liquidity solutions differentiated through the partnership and value created systems to sports franchises. So they're basically an investment firm that grows and liquefies solutions. So they're different. They're different. So
they're money launderers.
Yes, basically, it's a shell form. Rob Palumbo, co-manager of a technology-focused private equity firm. Sue McCollum, CEO and owner of beverage distribution Eagle brand, Double Eagle. Tarisha Gu, co-founder and managing partner of venture capital firm Acrew Capital. So she's a co-founder of a venture firm. Rob Ward, general partner of venture capital, so he's in another venture capital, Meritech Capital. Mike Jew, CEO of Global Corporate Investment Banking. Tom Berger, manager of investment firm. Yeah, so they're all in liquidity and capital firms. It's like everybody except for Josie Altidore, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter are actually just the heads of companies. So really, it looks like to me the only 3 people that really invested are the 3 athletes I just spoke of.
Okay.
So I really don't know. I don't know. That's strange. Let's see. Go ahead.
So Steve says, I wish the minority owners had some say, but it looks like it was for money. Pegula fell according to Forbes in terms of wealthy owners. Bills asked for debt relief from NFL.
They did. Yep.
That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate.
I mean, he fell, but he fell from 3 billion to 2 billion. Cry me a river.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's what, 74? You've won, dude. You've won. You've won. Your family's won. You've all won. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. The question is, who's next in line to take over the team when Terry Pegula steps down? Any of these people.
Well, I mean, the fact that all these other owners are in place, I mean, the way that it works is in the passing of an owner, if there's no next of kin that the team gets handed to, then it goes to the group that has minority ownership, right? But I mean, obviously in this case, it's more than likely going to be Pegula stepping down, which means the minority group is going to own the majority shares at that point, and they can decide what to do. They can either keep the team, which I'm not entirely sure they would have enough. They might need to bring some bigger whales in. But I think ideally they would want to try to find a better fit. You know what I'm saying? The Bills having an ownership group running the team, that wouldn't be my cup of tea.
That'd be tough.
Yeah,
that'd be tough, especially when most of these guys are not actual people. They're just a representation of some company. So it's a rough one. What was Jessie Pegula? I know that was asked of her of some sort. Was it her? Was it the Bills or the Sabres? I can't remember.
If she would take it.
Yeah, she's because it gets passed down through a lineage first, and she said, honestly, I don't remember what she said. If somebody remembers what the correlation was with her, please go ahead and let us know.
Okay. What else have we heard this week?
And I thought about Billy D because he wanted to talk about the rule changes like 2 weeks ago. Billy, I'm sorry, yes. I remember, then I forgot, then I remembered again.
And we're back.
And we're back again. So first and foremost, he wanted to talk about the tush push.
Okay.
I think that's hilarious that McDermott, McVay get into it with Roseman and them over the tush push. And McDermott said it really actually wasn't spirited. When the guys are passionate, they're okay, fine. And trust me, this is not going to turn into a McDermott bash session. Not for me, I guarantee it. But I thought it was funny that when McDermott spoke about why he wanted to outlawed or whatever the case may be, make it illegal. I thought it was interesting. He really said a bunch of nothing. It was all about the posture of what is this? And they're like, what do you mean posture? He's like, well, when the players are like, he kept doing this. And I'm like, what does that mean?
When are they ever lined up like that?
I don't know what he meant. Somebody's like, what do you mean by posture? Like, well, the posture of the way the players are lined up it can cause it. They're like, so what injury? Like, well, we don't have the data. I'm not gonna act like a doctor. And like, we're like, there is no data. And somebody said that. He even said there is no data yet, but we don't want something that we want to get in front of it. And they're like, but don't you guys run? He said, yeah, but we run it a different way. Like What is a different way? So this is the thing. So when you run the tush push a different way, isn't that just the quarterback's sneak?
Basically.
Yeah. And that's basically what he said. We run this quarterback sneak. And he's like, you can do that. But the tush push, having somebody push, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm trying to visualize how this could go wrong. I know, having 300-pound dudes multiple on your back is not going to be great.
Yeah, but like that's the thing I don't understand about the tush push. There's all this uproar about how unsafe it is. It is the fastest play in NFL history. The fastest. Think about how the ball is snapped, motion is stopped in 1 second.
Yep.
One.
Yep.
Right. So where's the chance for injury?
I mean, you've been the finger back or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's thinking if. Let me see. What do I have here? We ran it for. Okay. So he believes that both teams can be very good in a traditional form of quarterback sneak. Says the posture he's seeing is not healthy to be in. Somebody's like, what posture are you speaking at? And he said, he just kept saying posture. What is it? We want to know what is the posture. The pushing aspect is what he said. The pushing aspect
is when you squat, you poke your butt out,
and then you get pushed.
And then another man puts his hands on your buttock.
and throws you forward. Hey, I'm sorry.
And presses upon your cheeks
and
to force
propels
motion
you
through your abdomen up to your shoulders.
Yes,
and forcefully thrusting you
into the opposing team.
I told you, I'm gonna get everything pause I can out of the producer today. That is my goal. I'm gonna see how many we can get. Hopefully, somebody's keeping count of this.
Oh yeah. You know, when we do the draft show, if he's gonna be on it. So
yeah,
of course I am.
I ain't got to work, so you know I'm gonna be like, everybody at home, take a shot when he says pause. Not too many.
I might take the next day off after.
You might have to go to the hospital as many times he says pause, and that's a longer show, so that's gonna be a while.
That's what I'm saying. The show ain't gonna be over till like midnight.
I'm gonna get my stomach pumped.
First of all, the show's not gonna be over till midnight, and the Bills are gonna trade out of the first round.
Yes,
so I'm gonna need.
I'm gonna designate a driver.
Yeah.
He says so. Yeah, he says the pushing aspect of the tush push in the force. That's what he's talking about, the posture and what causes injuries, even though there hasn't been one yet. You have a quarterback that runs all over the place on the field and takes hits that he shouldn't take, but you're worried about a tush push. That's probably the safest play for Josh Allen, to keep the ball in his hands. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
you know, he's adamant about the tush push, and somebody even said it wasn't him, but somebody said that it's just boring. Okay, cool. That's legit. You don't want it because it's boring. I get it. For the competition's sake, that works fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Ray says, "Damn, this is the audio form of Pornhub, bro. How do you know?
Know about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you know?
That's no. I can't even talk about that one.
Steve says the tush push is nowhere near a football play. It's a rugby scrum.
Yep.
That's the only reason I want to go on myself. When you start with your hands on the QBs, it's not a football play.
That's pause right there, buddy.
He didn't say it.
Right. I didn't say it.
$2 signs.
Right.
Not there.
Billy D says if we add the kid from Florida, no need for the push.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing. We could do that because he actually can run. And now, honestly, Billy, that's why I kind of wanted Pegas from Ole Miss. Because
Roy, no. Please do not explain how you know.
It's fine. It's fine.
Let it go.
I don't want to know.
I'm sorry. You were saying so. Please.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted Pegas from Ole Miss because don't worry about it. Because he's a fullback, he's a tight end, he's a defensive tackle.
Jimmy, I bet he can't spell it.
Well, Pegues?
Yeah, I bet you can't spell it.
Pegues. Pegues.
Okay.
That's not phonetically right.
That's how he says it.
I mean, that's like Hoyt. Like Hoyt is not phonetically correct.
Go tell that man that.
Like,
go tell his whole lineage. His last name is wrong.
I'm gonna need the English language to get itself together.
Hey, we don't even speak the English language to coordinate British.
What?
We don't even speak the English language correctly according to the British people.
Gibberish come from Key, bro.
I know. According to British people, we don't speak English correctly either.
What? They have they don't actually call things by their names.
Then that's how they want us to do it.
No,
so get with it.
No, bro.
All right. Moving right along.
Yes,
okay, so
pass on Key.
Go ahead.
All right. So another thing I had. Joe Marino stated that the team has a knack for evolution. Any thoughts? What evolution? Where? Any thoughts on that?
Say that one more time.
Joe Marino stated that the team has shown a knack for evolution and how they build this team. I don't know.
I think respectfully, I think Joe Marino is doing a very, very good job of furthering his career as a football analyst and a draft analyst. More power to him, but the team is evolving where?
That's kind of what I was getting at when I because I wrote it down. This was a couple weeks ago. And I was like, what am I missing?
So okay, let's be clear on something. If your team is not doing a great job in zone coverage, that is probably going to force you to have to play more man coverage. And part of the reason that the Bills, on tape anyway, couldn't be as good as they were, in previous years in zone coverage is because their safety play was horrible. Right. So when you struggle in the middle of your defense on the back end in the defensive backfield, that forces your corners to have to do more. If your corners have to do more, they are at a disadvantage as soon as the ball snaps. Mm-hmm. Christian Benford being the best of all of them and not being a an elite athlete, that makes it even harder because Rasul Douglas is on the downturn of his career. So he's even more or less, he's even less athletic than Christian Benford is. So your defensive backfield either can't play zone right, or it's too slow to play the zone effectively, right? Yeah. When that happens, the only other option from there is, well, I got to start getting in these guys' face.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I look at it. You know, when you're talking about evolution, evolution starts with your scheme, with your philosophy. You keep bringing in the same kind of players. You keep running the same schemes.
Yep.
Whether or not you have the same defensive coordinator or not, it's the same schemes, it's the same players. You know, one of the things when we look at our mock drafts and stuff like that, I got trashed for one I put. I didn't really get trashed, but people didn't like it. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was what I thought was most likely to happen. You know, and when you're looking at, I think somebody mentioned Donovan Ezaraku, which from Boston College, the speedy edge rusher. He led the league, the nation in sacks, I believe, last year. They don't want that. They don't want a part of that. I saw James Pierce drop into the 20s. They don't want a part of that. Mike Green dropping to the to 30 even. They don't want a part of that because that's an edge rusher that really isn't going to give you much in the run stopping department. But the thing that gets me is the team predicates themselves on, or they pride themselves on run stopping, but they're not good at it, and they never are good at it. But they keep priding themselves. We want to win in the trenches. How do you win in the trenches when you don't have the guys that ever win in the trenches?
Exactly.
And you never change it.
Exactly. Steve says, yes, we evolved from having more playmakers, Diggs, Von, Hyde, Poyer, to more scrubs and worse coaching, ... evolution. Shout out to Dane and Hamlin.
He's shouting out to him.
He taking shots.
He saluted.
If fans don't want the shots taken, then expect better from the team, because until there's a level of accountability, this is what we're going to continue to get. I was just talking to Damaris earlier today, and we talked about the defense, and they like, we've been talking about corner a lot, right? And at the end of the day, for the Bills, it really comes down to who they're going to like, because we can say Will Johnson, we can say Trey Amos and all these other corners, but it really comes down to who they like. Yeah,
with this team, you have to really break it down and see what they want, what they like. You have to watch their old drafts, their old signings to see what they want. It's not going to be what you want. And trust me, I was there with you. There was many years where I got mad at a pick because I was like, that's not who we could have taken. We could have did this. But then I sat back and thought about it. You know, I said, they don't want that kind of offense or defense. They want this. So I resigned myself to saying, what is this? And how do we fix this? And I haven't really figured it out yet. So I'm still tinkering around, but you know, I know my vision for what they run and what they should run and what would be most successful is not theirs, and it's not going to happen.
Right. So, I mean, I think ideally when we're talking about evolution, I think what people are really starting to try to point to is the amount of man coverage that the Bills played last year, and combine that with this what's the guy's name? The defensive line coordinator, the guy we took from the Jaguars.
I have to look it up. I don't remember.
Well, anyway,
I'll find it.
His background in being a, you know, predominantly man cover type of defensive coordinator in his tenure with Jacksonville, and then coming here to coach our defensive line and all that kind of stuff. I think people are trying to read between the lines a little bit too much with all that.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is still Sean McDermott's defense. And even though we did play man coverage, what Sean has shown us in his history here is that he's willing to make adjustments when he absolutely has to.
Are you talking about Ryan Nielsen or Jason Repovich?
Nielsen. Nielsen is the guy who was the defensive coordinator in Jacksonville last year and lost his job.
There you go.
So I think that's what people are pointing to when they say, oh, the Bills are evolving. Okay, look, even though there are teams that are starting to play more and more man coverage because offensive schemes are dictating that, that is not something that Sean has done ever in his defenses. He has always been a zone guy, even from his times from his time with Jim Johnson in Philly. So when you look at a guy's history and you look at his habits, unless he's going to do a complete 180 and change his entire mindset and become a man-based defense, I just
that's going to take a lot of work.
That's what I'm saying. There's no evidence to suggest at all that anything is going to change defensively. They might play, man coverage a little bit more like they did last year because they may face a team like the Bengals where you have to be able to cover those receivers up and play a little bit more coverage in the middle and have your linebackers do most of the like all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So when you're thinking about evolution, you can't think about it from, oh, they made this move and this guy, does something different. You have to look at it from a head coach standpoint because that's the guy running the show. And we haven't seen anything that indicates that he is going to change. And if he's not going to change, nothing about the show is going to change. Mm-hmm. Steve says, we know what Bill's like. Smart guys with no athleticism in secondary, undersized, versatile Jags on D-line, and slow people who are disciplined don't question authority. I mean, look, we've just about given as much evidence to that point as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. When you look at the schools that they hire from, when you look at the profiles on these players that they pick up, when you look at what these players' roles were from high school all the way up to now, these are guys that have never been that dude on their team.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at last show when I was talking about the stars out of high school.
Yeah.
It wasn't a perfect correlation, but it just shows you when they became that fella.
Right.
I mean, these are the guys, these 5 stars are the guys who are getting recruited out of 8th grade. These are the guys that know they're soft committing before they can even drive. They're soft committing before they can vote. They're soft committing before they can do anything else. They can't even go to the Boulevard Galleria Mall without their parents holding their hands.
Yep.
But these guys know what college they're going to in 4 years. They don't even know they're going to pass high school. But if you God bless you, if you get through that high school graduation, you're gonna go to the school, and they like that. So, when it comes to the Bills, like Steve said, they go with the captains. They go with this, that, and third. Dwayne Carter. That was one of the things they say. I think he was a wrestler. He was a 4-year captain. This, that, and third. Like, it's well and good, but that doesn't get me to the Super Bowl. A D tackle that does that, it doesn't get me to the Super Bowl. And that's not a shot at Dwayne Carter. It is what it is. I just use him because that's what they lauded him for. It wasn't his play on the field as much as his off the field and contributions as a leader. We have a committee for that. We have guys at James Cook, Josh Allen, Dawson Knox. We have these guys in this leadership council that are employed for that, and obviously what they do on the field. So when you get guys that are coming in, they're supposed to be coming in with the talent, and they should be able to be molded by their big brothers, or whatever the case may be. But they don't see it that way. They want guys to come in, and we talked about it before. They want guys to come in and say, you know what? We don't have to worry about molding this person. We don't have to worry about what they're doing in the 3 months that they're not playing football. Mm-hmm. We're good with that, and we don't want to do all the housekeeping, all the stuff that they have to do when you have guys that may or may not have the best character.
Right.
And after 9 years, you would think they would have that nipped in the bud by now, but they just don't. It's worked so far because they have a certain tools, certain people in place where you can hide a lot of stuff. Josh Allen,
I was just about to say that's about it.
Josh. I mean, you got Josh, James Cook. You got the 2 safeties we had, Poyer and Hyde. They mask a lot of stuff. And if you don't want to admit that Poyer and Hyde, I mean, people who doesn't, but for people that say that they're gone is fine, whatever. They weren't that good anyway. No, they were way more than what you think they are. They were the guys that made the calls in defense. They were the guys that line Christian Benford, got him money, got Rasul Douglas looking good, got Taron Johnson through seasons Pro Bowls. They're the guys that were the guys that masked Bernard and when Milano was hurt. That's when you asked me who were the most important positions on the team, safety. That's why I said it.
Yeah, because
truth be told, usually the linebackers went. No, it was those guys.
Right. Well, look, I think.
Roy, no, it's not.
What did he say?
He said, "Isn't it more difficult to?" Well, it's more difficult, yes, but it's not. It's not impossible. It's not at all. Isn't it more difficult to draft that guy when you're consistently picking late in each round? No, it just means you got to do more work.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no formula to it,
right?
But when you look at what the Chiefs have done, when you look at what the Ravens have done, when you look at what all these teams that drafted the back end of each round have done, they found players.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean, how do you think the Ravens ended up with Owe? You know what I'm saying? How do you like it? The only time in the last 9 years that they've been in a top 10 position was
Ed Oliver's year.
And
then they traded up for Josh, but yeah.
They got Lamar Jackson at what, 21?
Yep.
Let's really consider.
Wait, no, Lamar Jackson, no,
27, wasn't it?
He was late. Let me pull it up.
Okay,
I can't remember now, but he was like out of his world late.
Steve says, do you at the PPP think the Bills would draft a guy like Tyleik Williams, Ohio State, if he's there at 30? That is who I want.
Who was it, Steve? I think they could, and Lamar Jackson was 32nd. He was the last pick of the first round.
32nd. That's right. They traded back into that round to get him. That's right.
Okay. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna poo-poo on Steve, because Tyleik Williams is cool. I actually, believe it or not, I did a mock where I traded out of the first, and I still got Trey Amos. I got 3 seconds, and I still got a third round. So I wanted to maximize my top 100 picks.
So I actually heard really quick. I heard we need to probably take Amos off the list. I've heard he's got some background stuff on him that's not great.
But that's the thing. Shavon Ravel was in for a mock draft, and I'm saying, you know what? If Shavon Ravel, he ran a 4.4, so that means his leg is in pretty good shape.
Okay, but let me ask you this: we've seen what it looks like with the player coming off an ACL. We've seen that twice now. We've seen it with Von Miller. We've seen it with Trey White. Ravel coming in this year is not going to be where he needs to be.
That's what he could be. However, if you're telling me I can get Shavon Ravel healthy and Shavon Ravel, you can go ahead and give me something on that side.
So you would take having him basically,
if I could platoon him with Dane Jackson even.
No. Well, basically what I'm trying to say is he's not going to be Ravel until 2027. Right? Because it's going to take him. Well, I mean, that's what it is. With that type of injury, when the players come back, he hasn't played football at all since the first few weeks of the college football season.
5 years. 5 seasons, 5 weeks in.
Right. So we're talking about almost 8 months of not having played any football at all, even at the college level. And then he's going to be expected to come in here and acclimate to the NFL level when he hadn't even played college football in the last 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, I would take Shavon Ravel. I think 2026 would be more accurate in my mind.
Yeah.
This year, I don't know.
I'm not saying don't take him.
No. I know that, because I'm not arguing that.
Right. Yeah. Of course. I know. I don't want to deter anybody from wanting to take him. I'm just simply saying, if you take Ravel, you have to understand you're not going to see the real Ravel until the year after he's drafted.
And I think the Ravel that we get even in 25 would be better than Dane Jackson.
You just don't want to see Rasul Douglas or Dane Jackson.
Honestly, if you gave me Ravel, you can give me whoever you want. You can give me Stephon Gilmore. I don't like that guy.
I mean,
you can give me him back, because Ravel, he's older. He's 25 or whatever the case may be, but 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", runs a 4.4, excellent cover guy. Would have been a top 15 pick had he not gotten hurt. I mean, that's a steal to me.
Would you take that 6'3" corner?
You talking about Darian Porter?
Yes.
I would take him in a second. I actually have him a second round grade on him.
And he's a good special teams player. I think.
Okay, you messed up.
Well,
we don't want to give McDermott what he wants.
5 or 6 block kicks.
We don't want to give McDermott what he wants.
No, okay.
No, I'm joking.
That's the whole reason. I know. That's the whole reason why. That's what makes it frustrating. Is we can't look at the top prospects in the NFL. We have to look at all these random guys with these random quirks, like having 5 block kicks and saying, "Oh, this guy's a good special teamer." That might be the guy my head coach wants.
All right, you know who I'm looking at cornerback? This is who I'm looking at: Shavon Ravel.
Okay.
Noah Williams from California. Trey Amos was one. Darian Porter.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant from where's Kobe from? I forget. But Melo Dotson from University of Kansas.
I think I remember watching Kobe Bryant.
He's nasty.
Yeah.
He's nasty. But those are the 6 names I'm watching at cornerback. None of those are first rounders, except maybe Shavon Ravel. Trey Amos, I like I said, those 2 are probably early second round. Mm-hmm. The rest of them you can have in the 3rd or 4th round.
There's some people projecting Trey Amos in like the 18 to 20 range.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
That's kind of crazy for a guy that's kind of limited in a way.
Well, I mean, he's an excellent player, but like you said, there's off-field stuff that there might be something that we don't know or that the Bills only care about, and other teams just don't care about in this by the sake of just talent. We can work with it later.
Rust Belt Revolution, what's going on? He says we don't need a wide receiver.
What you here for? No, I'm joking. Stay here. Stay.
No, I mean, look. Here's where this came from. I'm looking at the current situation from the standpoint of, and I was telling Damaris this earlier, the idea that the Bills are in a position right now where the biggest hole on the team is that corner spot, right? They don't have a bona fide starter at that corner spot.
Mm-hmm.
So going into this first round, the last 2 years, the Bills went into the draft during Kincaid's year needing a pass catcher. They actually needed a receiver, but they passed off Kincaid as a pass catcher and pushed him down our throats, and we just kind of took it. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I needed that one.
Right. And then the following year, we needed a corner. They traded up to take Kaiir Elam. So they've kind of gone away from this. We want to take the best player available to we're going to take the guy at an obvious position of need that we like, and we just don't care about best player available anymore.
Yeah, the position of need, defensive line, both aspects, D and D tackle. Wide receiver is the secondary, tertiary, and then cornerback. Obviously, for me, safety. Based on what I said already, I believe safety is huge for this team. McDermott was a safety in college, so he has some kind of know-how. And our safeties usually are pretty good if they have some kind of acumen athletically. Yeah. So I think if you give him somebody, he can build them into something.
The sad part, though, bro, and I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I think they are set at safety.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 4. They spent money in free agency on one. They drafted another one last year. They still have the 2 that were here last year.
I'm interested in Forrest. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I am too, but I mean, look, the NFL is going away from the strong and the free.
Yeah.
They want hybrid at both positions, right? It allows you to do a lot more disguise wise, and it allows you to do a lot more in terms of man coverage with some with what some of these teams are doing on offense, right? And I mean, look, I don't have an issue with that. My issue is you've basically put enough on your plate where you don't really have any space for anything else. You know what I'm saying? If they go and they draft a safety, that guy's going to be buried behind all 4 of these dudes. I mean, possibly, yeah. I mean, to me, and here's why. Because the Bills traditionally don't start rookies right away. It doesn't matter where this guy is drafted. I mean, they made Kaiir Elam compete with Christian Benford for a starting job, even though Benford was a 6th round pick and Elam was a 1st. So they don't follow the conventional laws of drafting.
Right.
So even if we did get a top tier safety, there's no guarantee that guy is going to come in and do anything right away.
Yeah, I think he'll have a shot at competing for it, but I don't know that they'll just hand Rapp or Forrest or Bishop the job. I think if they stay healthy, it's going to be a true competition. I think Bishop really screwed up on the fact that what you saw in Houston, they like, that was it. That play, that's why we didn't start him. That one little misstep where he had a miscommunication with Douglas and Nico Collins went for the touchdown. That's it. But if you get a Malachi Starks, somebody, if they invest that high end, I think they know that they got a bona fide guy. And I think, if we're going to the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, they're going to have a reason why he's buried on the bench on the depth chart. He really has to prove himself.
Yeah.
But that first round safety, that's our blue chipper because we haven't had one of those guys pretty much ever.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you though, bro. Like I would like to have a guy that comes in with some kind of pedigree that I know is going to, if he isn't already, he's going to very quickly develop into a playmaker for our team. That is a guy like when we signed Micah Hyde and I looked at what he did for the Packers. Played corner and safety. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a guy that, okay, great for what he came in and did. You could see it because of what he had done for the Green Bay Packers. So that's what I would like to, that's the kind of feeling that I would like to have with a player that we draft. It's like, okay, I see what this guy did in college. He was dominant in college. Now he's going to come in and do the same or better for my Buffalo Bills. And look, the idea of drafting a wide receiver is more surrounded around the idea that the Bills on defense are not going to draft a guy that's, or they're not in position to, because they can always trade up. They're not currently in position to draft a guy on defense that's going to come in and be a massive impact player more so than a wide receiver could. Right. And I think that is the mindset behind why I'm talking about wide receiver in the first place. My mindset is, if you're going to try to be dominant on one side of the ball, why not try to be dominant on the side of the ball that has your most dominant player?
Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it too.
Yeah. Like with the Browns, their most dominant side is defense. Why? Myles Garrett is there. Mm-hmm. And that's where most of their money has been invested. That's where most of their draft capital has been invested. They did go out and sign Deshaun Watson because they wanted him to come and be the
spruce up the other side.
Right. Yeah. But that didn't work out. So I think we've seen now the Buffalo Bills' investment on the defensive side to try and even that part out with what they have on offense. You just need to own what you are on defense right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take your medicine on that side of the ball, draft, develop, but get good players on that side in the later rounds when you know you've had more success.
Yeah.
Don't dedicate these first and second round picks that would be better served giving them to Josh Allen and letting him, benefit from their presence and then, be dominant on that side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me is when you look at the Bengals, dominant on offense. When you look at what the Chiefs were, dominant on offense. Last year, they had to be dominant on defense. They're the number 2 overall defense because they just didn't have the weapons on offense. The guys were hurt, right? And I'm talking about 2023, not 24.
Mm-hmm.
So there are circumstances that dictate a team's approach. But look, we don't see the Bengals trying to have an even,
even
salary
cap and all that stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they have a Super Bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done more than what we have with a team that is not built anywhere near what we have.
Mm-hmm.
But they have 3 dominant players on offense, and they continue to invest on that side. They got Chase Brown. They drafted. They signed Zach Moss. They let him go. They had Zach Moss. He got hurt. Chase Brown went in. You know what I'm saying? So they drafted another receiver last year in Burton.
Okay, yeah.
Jermaine Burton, I think it was.
Yep.
Alabama. And he's a 6'2", 6'3" guy. So like they're doing all these things to add weapons and pieces and more dominance to the offensive side of the ball. But why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? The reason why is because they have an offensive-minded head coach, right? And here we are with a defensive-minded head coach that's pouring all this money and assets into defense and not getting that result that we expect from a defensive-minded head coach.
Right.
That's what it is.
It is what it is. Yep.
All right. Where do you want to go from here? You want to get into?
I want to touch on, I forget somebody, who was it? Was it Steve Noble that said something about Tyleik? Tyleik Williams signing him, I believe it was.
Yes.
The thing with Tyleik, this is why I don't think that's going to happen. Now, if it happens, I don't want you to say, "Aha, I told you." But you have to look at how the Bills play. They don't play a 0 tech, 1 tech.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Daquan Jones, he's usually in the 3. So what that tells me is they want somebody that plays the 3 pass rush, but they also want somebody that they can slide over to 1 if they have to. So my answer to that, Alfred Collins. That's the one I think you're looking at in the 2nd round.
I've heard about him.
6'6", 330. He's a pass rusher, but he also can plug up the A and B gap simultaneously. So that's somebody, if he's there with our 2nd pick, and maybe the 1st, depending on how they do, that you might see becoming a Bill.
Okay. Laura says, That's an interesting idea. I didn't envision picking offense first in the draft. Def worth some thought, mostly because of the depth at defensive tackle. You can afford to not get one in the first round.
Oh, you can go rounds without defensive tackle. Yep.
Right. And so realistically, you might even find better value in the later rounds as opposed to trying. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to wide receiver, though, it's thin. It's very thin, and based on what I've seen, there are some guys that they could bring in that could come in and do a much better job than even what Keon did in his first year. Just because they're these guys are better route runners, or they have more speed and they have the size, right? So, and that's no disrespect to Keon. Again, I love his mindset, I love his work ethic, I love what he brings to the table. But I think he's more of a above the rim type of wide receiver, and we are going to need that, but we still need
somebody to get you to the place where you can use the above the rim guy.
Exactly. So Billy D says the kid from Arizona, talking about Tet.
I hope not.
I don't think he's going to be there.
Tet's not going to be there unless you're trading way up, and I wouldn't.
You're talking about Tet as the number one receiver in this draft, right?
Tet is, well, it's either him or Luther Burden. They go back and forth.
Okay.
And that's assuming, because they don't know what Hunter's going to be yet either. So they're like, if he's a wide receiver, he's number one. But after that, it's either Tet or Burden. Those are the two.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll break into these receivers that I want to
do. You think I got? Now, what are we doing with this? Are we going based on the top five? What the Bills will probably take?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. These are guys that I think would fit the Buffalo Bills culture. And I'm kind of like some of these. I think all these guys you would know, but for sure, there's two guys on here that I don't think very many people are paying attention to. Right?
Try me.
I'm probably going to be wrong. I already know, but let's get some music going. with, I think he could be a very good chess piece in year one for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond is definitely that was my wide receiver one of if you're talking about potential actuality.
While he may not be an elite athlete, for his size and his physicality and as smooth a route runner as he is, I
Guys, this list is wrong.
I gave you some 4.47s already.
Oh yeah,
what do you want me to do?
This list is trash. No.
There was a 4.6 guy I was looking at like
he's off my board now. Dang.
So Dante Thornton Jr. Look, I went back and watched his tape from Oregon, and he's an underrated route runner. He still rounds out some of his routes when he's running some outs and stuff like that. But his bread and butter is the post routes, the goes, the crossers, anything that complements speed, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at what the Buffalo Bills need, that is exactly what they need. They need a guy like that on the outside to run those types of routes, to open up the middle or open up the seam rather, and the underneath. If they had a guy like that could consistently be that threat, the Buffalo Bills offense would go to a whole nother level, right?
Yeah, Dante. The thing that you got to realize about Dante Thornton is he doesn't run deep routes. He runs them, but that's not where he gets all his yardage.
Exactly.
Everything is a slant. Everything is a cross, and he catches it and goes.
Yep.
So that's the beautiful thing about Thornton. You know, the size got me, and I didn't know he was that big when I watched him play until I really looked into him.
Yeah.
But the fact that the 4.3 speed, it shows on the field.
Yes, it does.
And that's something. I wonder why you found this guy.
Huh?
I don't know how you found him. What'd you type in? What was your query? What was the query that you did?
No, to be honest, I just what I did is I went through a listing of the wide receivers, and I just started looking at size, 40 time, and then from there I would go and I would look at the scouting report, the review, and all that kind of stuff, see how they rated, and then I would look at their strengths and weaknesses, and then I'd go and review the tape. You know what I mean? And I did this for a bunch of guys, but these are the 5 that I landed on that I felt like, they come from. I mean, obviously the only guy that didn't fit coming from a non-power conference school would be Isaiah Bond. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else on this list would fit the mold of coming from a non-power conference school and would come in with the mentality that they're thankful to be here. So they wouldn't make a bunch of noise. They're big, they're physical, they can block. They have speed. You know what I'm saying? And it's not blazing elite speed where, this guy would, be coveted as like some, next coming of Jesus in Buffalo or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So their head wouldn't be, exploding day one. So I think these guys would fit the locker room as well as the needs for the team that the Buffalo Bills have.
Take that. That's cool.
Yeah. I had fun doing this. I'm probably gonna do this for a few other positions.
Oh, we should do this. We got it.
I know we got plenty of time.
We do, and I pretty much did a lot of work already, so we're good. Make it easy on me.
Right. All right. So Laura says, I think we all need Junie yelling pause at us every 6 minutes. Stop, watch, blue hand timer,
and a water bottle.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I got a water bottle right here.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, of course. Because you got a whole bunch of pause.
It's not really tea, but it's a water bottle. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's crazy? Because this water isn't helping me, man.
It ain't time yet.
No. Yeah, it definitely ain't that time yet. We ain't nowhere near.
I wasn't saying it to close the show.
Okay.
I was like, that was a good segue though. It was a good segue. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you later if you need some.
All right. Cool.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So for my list, let's see. The first one I had was Jalen Lane. Jalen Lane out of Virginia Tech.
Oh, we need some more music.
You censored me?
No, I didn't censor you. I'm all right.
Lord, I'm done. He got rid of me. I'm fired.
Okay, let me lower this.
Yeah, somebody's ears just exploded.
Ooh, some sweet jazz.
I know.
I love it.
Is
that smooth jazz?
Some more soulful stuff
On a nice summer day.
It's a smooth jazz.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Jalen Lane out of Virginia Tech. Let's see. Jalen Lane is a shorter guy. I think he's about 6 feet. Let's see if I have his height here anyway. 5'10", 191. But I noticed him. He popped off the screen at the Senior Bowl. When I watched Senior Bowl, the practices. Yes, I'm that nerd. I watched all the practices for that too. I mean, nobody could cover him. You know, it was his route running was nice. Obviously, you're supposed to win because it's 1-on-1. But the precision that he ran his routes, the speed in and out of his breaks, the hands that he displayed as he tracked the ball in, over shoulder, wherever the case may be, it was really appealing to me. So I went and looked at what he did. 2024, he had 38 receptions, 466 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaged 12.3 a catch. For his career, he had 124 receptions, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, and that's over 30 games. He came from Middle Tennessee State as well. He ran a 4.35 40-inch vertical. He's effective in catch and run packages. So if you got a team that was looking for yak, this is your guy. Like I said, hands catcher, somebody that's explosive. The negatives I have on him, there are not very many. He's a versatile slot, but like I said, 5'10", you might want to be a little bigger. You want him to have more of a senior year profile, in terms of receptions and production. But I think in the right system where he's masked by other guys that can produce, he'll see his contributions increase. Who else do I have? Oh, is this smooth jazz because I like jazz and I listen to jazz all the time?
It just goes so great with your voice, bro. Like, okay, you can't even.
I'm gonna see if I can get a radio show. I have Arian Smith from Georgia.
Why you manifest about his voice?
That was not a pause moment.
No.
Okay.
Why you manifest about his voice, man?
I don't know.
I'm manifesting about his voice.
Yeah, why you
something like that?
I mean, he's got this smooth jazz, soulful,
voice,
baritone bass voice.
Me and Billy D. Williams over here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I could prop my bro up. Don't try to make this weird.
You're trying to tear me down.
Don't try to make this weird, bro.
I'm just trying to be the best I can.
I was just joking.
I know.
I like that.
Nah, Arian Smith from Georgia.
Said y'all doing draft night live?
Yes, we are.
We doing it right now.
Oh, right now? No,
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Billy got the hand up. But yeah, so who was that? Oh yeah, Arian Smith. He's 6 feet, 185, lean, athletic frame. He's a very slender guy. Kind of reminded me of Roscoe Parrish in a taller version. 37-inch vertical, and he ran. What did he run? He had a 4.36 40. Arian Smith. He showed me a lot of downfield manifestation here. I didn't see a lot of wiggle. I didn't see a lot of over the middle stuff. He seems to be more of a guy that wins with speed. He tracks the ball well, and he's the kind of guy that if you need something deep, just throw it down there. He's somewhere, 48 receptions, 817 yards for 17 yards a catch last year.
You didn't get a pause for that.
I made sure I tried. 4 touchdowns as long as reception was 67. I know you weren't. You never do it. Now it's too late. The statute has passed.
No.
The statute is over.
The first one
was Steve
a pause.
the jazz.
Second one, I wasn't paying attention.
You just weren't paying attention. That's okay. Career stats for Arian Smith. He has 68 receptions on his career, 1,300 yards, 19.9 yards of reception, 8 touchdowns in 36 games.
They saying they couldn't hear the jazz.
That's okay. The jazz is there.
Hopefully it's a little bit louder now. I can turn it up.
I got Kyle Williams. Yes, Steve. Kyle Williams. Where's Roy? Kyle Williams. The other one, though. The other one. The one out of Washington State.
There is no other one.
This is the guy that the
when
Bills
you
are
say
clamoring
Kyle Williams, you basically saying the playmaker.
Yeah, this one's the playmaker. Yes.
Kyle Williams, the name. Whoever bears that name, they are the playmaker. Period.
That's that heavy. What is it? Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
That's right. That's right.
So Kyle Williams, he's what is he? 5'11", 190. I mean, you probably heard the name, especially around the Bills organization, because there's a lot of rumblings, a lot of love for Kyle Williams in the last couple of weeks. 2024 season, he has 70 receptions, 1,198 yards, 14 touchdowns. So 14 touchdowns in 2024. He has 29 over his career. He had 50 games total between UNLV and Washington State. So he really was a yak monster when it came to his production in 2024. Dynamic with the ball in his hands. So he's definitely somebody that you can throw, Khalil Shakir kind of player. That doesn't go with the smooth jazz.
I don't care.
You interrupting the flow right now.
He's messing it all up. He can't come to draft night. I'll push the button.
I'm here. Don't worry about that.
You get no mic.
I might have a mic.
How is his mic not plugged in? How did that happen?
For 3 hours? Yeah. Why did we not know this?
You know what?
Is that why he was banging on the glass?
That might have been the case. That might explain it. All right.
I thought he was miming. I was entertained.
How did you do a whole show ignoring that thump on the glass?
Thump on the glass. He was pausing for life in there. He was screaming pause, but I couldn't hear him because he had no mic.
No, it wasn't pause. I was like, there was a person behiand that. That's why I was.
He's way deep in the cut.
He is deep in the cut.
Way deep in the cut.
You know what?
Now that's a pause.
That's a.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. The AO producer's deep in the cut.
Pause.
That's it. So he's a developmental player that you definitely would get 3 levels of NFL receiving from. You just got to be patient with this kind of player because his dynamics will pay off as long as you are patient with the guy and not give up on him. Kyer. But if you're looking at a 4th or 5th round option, Kyle Williams is definitely one that you might want to take a shot on.
Steve Noble is with you. He says Kyle Williams is nice.
Kyle Williams is nice.
There's even a Jordan Phillips DT that I would like to have.
Oh yes, yeah. When we do this for D tackles,
we can do them next if you want to do that.
Hey, we can do yes.
All right, we'll
I
do
got
DTs
that.
Friday.
I mean, do you think I got all the notes that I need?
All right.
So speaking of your guy, Caden Prather, I'm sure you saw some Ty Felton. Went to Maryland, the other wide receiver. Ty Felton is another one like Kyle Williams that is a darling with the Buffalo fans these days. Mm-hmm. And there's a good reason why. He's 6'1", 183 pounds. Precision route running. It's funny about Maryland. Precision route running. Who else do we know went from there? Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the silky route running we had with their guys, not Darius Haywood-Bay. We won't talk about him. He was just speed. So we'll just gloss over that guy.
Yo, nobody was thinking about DHB until you said something, bro.
We would gloss right over that guy. And Steve is hilarious. See what he put on there?
Smooth route running until Darius
Haywood-Bay. Don't worry about that. And Steve says,
yo.
Say less.
He said he's about to get somebody pregnant. Stone cold pregnant.
That's it. Let's see. Ty Felton was definitely the first darling that we had. 2024 season with Maryland. He had 96 receptions, 1,100 yards, 11.7 yards a catch, 9 touchdowns in 12 games. So 96 receptions. Say less. For his career, he had 172 receptions, 2,300 yards, 13.6 yards of reception, 18 touchdowns in 42 games. This is a guy who right now, he struggles with the consistency, but if you got a guy that can give you 1,100 yards in a season, I think we can fix that.
Absolutely.
I think we can fix that.
Right.
4.37 on the 40. He had a 39.5-inch vertical, 10-10 broad jump. And like I said before, 6'1", 183. How many was that?
That's 4 so far.
Okay, I didn't know if I was cut off or I was good to go. Do I want to see if we're doing 5? Yep. Do I want to do? See, a lot of people like Trey Harris. I'm not going to do Trey Harris. He's on my list because people like him, but I don't. I don't see Trey Harris to Buffalo.
Why not?
I just don't think I think he is more of a Gabe Davis kind of player. You know, he's a deep threat, if you will, but he's not really shifty. He's not really a route runner. He's not really, he's limited, but he's a big body, and people will fall in love with that in an Ole Miss production. So let's see, what do I have on him? I can go quickly because this doesn't count towards it. Last year he had 60 receptions, 1,030 yards, and 7 touchdowns, averaging 17.2 a catch. What I have for his limitations, I'm showing him to have durability concerns. He got injured a few times, long term, longer than we would like. His route tree needs refinement. He doesn't really run anything but goes in other intermediate routes, but he doesn't really do anything to get open. Ole Miss's wide receiver, if you will. We have DeMarcus Lodge, AJ Brown, and this other guy. What's his name? DK Metcalf. So yeah, they all came from Ole Miss, and this is the next installment. I don't think he's in their ilk. I don't think he's the same kind of player. He ran a 4.5, had a 40-inch, 38.5-inch vertical. But I think if you're looking at Trey Harris, looking at a guy like what was the guy that you like so much, Alshon Jeffrey. I think that's the kind of guy that you're at.
Today's day and age is probably not right for a guy like
Alshon. Not if you have Keon already.
Yeah,
because Keon has that corner marker. You need somebody that's going to help him get open.
Yep.
The last person I wanted to talk about, though, just to go over this.
Sure.
Is Jalen Royals. I don't know if you know anything about Jalen Royals from Utah. Jalen Royals is 6 feet, 185. He's a mid-round pick. I got him early third. Steve says Kyle Williams isn't getting out of the second. I honestly don't think you're lying. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think he is definitely going to be somebody that will fall in some team will fall in love with him, maybe the Bills. So it might be a bit of an overdraft right now, but I don't think Mel Kiper and the boys would yell at whoever takes him early.
Yeah.
Going to Jalen Royals, 55 receptions, 834 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns in 12 games, 130 receptions, 2,300 yards, 18 on the dot yards per reception, 21 touchdowns in 36 games. Jalen Royals, 6 feet, 185. He ran a 4.30. So I'm sure you would love that. 40.5-inch vertical. So he's a workout warrior. What you didn't, you know what? I just remembered for Deontay Thornton. You know where he fell? Deontay Thornton was, if I have it here, on the list of rare and incredible athletes. Where do I have it though? What is the name of it? He was on the freaks list.
You want to clarify that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it because he had.
Yeah, please clarify.
He had a 355-pound bench press and I think over 600-pound squat. So yeah, so
he's a freak because of that.
Can you do it? Okay then.
You know what, Keith? Damn. All right, bro.
He's like a mere 355 pounds. A mere? No, but not.
All right, Keith, bro.
That's actually not bad.
You know what?
That's not bad. Nathan Oliver is right. We got 30 people watching, over 30 people watching, and only 20 likes. What's good? Y'all slacking. I'm not watching.
I mean, it don't cost nothing. Can we?
I mean, show a brother some love.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would really appreciate that.
You know, just let us know you're watching and like what you see. Because if you don't, we'll try to switch it up and make you like it next time.
Right, that's crazy.
So let me ask you real quick. This is just my last toss in here.
Go ahead.
What did you think when you looked at Jack Bech?
I really like him.
I do too.
I really like him. He is no frills.
Yeah.
But he's going to get the job done. He's not really fat. I noticed him at the Senior Bowl.
Doesn't he remind you a little bit of Puka?
He does remind me. Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
You know, he's no frills guy. He doesn't show that much speed. He doesn't have, and when he was at the Senior Bowl, I said, who is that guy? You know, he keeps winning his reps.
Yeah.
You know, and then it translates to when you watch his highlights as well. You know, I know highlights aren't everything, but when you watch them, you can tell this guy's going to be something.
Right.
I actually have him in the 3rd or 4th round. A lot of people have him in the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on how the draft falls, I think that people might get pushed down, and he's one that I hope that the Bills actually would think about, even if they don't take him. Jack Bech is definitely somebody that got my eye, and I'm pretty sure it got McDermott and Bean's eye, especially too, if they like the Lunchfield guys.
Oh yeah. When this was like, I was looking at him today before the show, and I was like, should I add him? But I don't know. I'm not really sure. And here's why. I think for an outside receiver,
mm-hmm.
looking at what the Rams have done with Puka a lot, he gets moved around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's a consistent X or he's a consistent Z and he's just winning outside all the time. He does a lot of things. They scheme up a lot of things for him. What makes Puka great is his physicality and his consistency with bringing the football down. You know what I'm saying? Coming down with the football and being physical and making plays when they need to be made, right? He just whenever the team needs him, he makes the play. That's what makes Puka great. And I think Jack Bech is kind of shown that level of consistency and savvy and route running and physicality and all that kind of stuff that really makes you think about a guy like Puka. But again, you would have to hope that the Bills would use Bech in a similar way. Mm-hmm. And when I look at a guy like Jack Bech, I mean, the first thing in my mind is, well, can't we use Shakir like that? I mean, he's 6 feet, 200 pounds.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, Shakir kind of pigeonholed himself because when he came in, he was supposed to be inside outside.
Yeah.
But I think he pigeonholed himself by being so good at the inside. And, you know, I think they're worried about mitigating some of the success he had in his slot when they could move Keon to the slot where he should be.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's an X, as being said, before you even saw him on the field. So he's kind of relegated to it. Yeah, I mean, Bech ran he didn't even run. He knows he's a tortoise, but that's okay. 19 on the bench. That means he's probably a pretty good blocker. Broad jump 10.5, so he has lower body explosion. 6'8" cone drill, 4.2 on the 20. That's on the short shuttle. That's not bad. That's actually not bad at all. Mm-hmm. You know, it just shows that his weaknesses, like we said, are suddenness and burst. Unable to race past the stack. Well, okay, we got that. Effort and effectiveness as a run blocker needs to improve, so he can, but he's going to do better. Just to create catch space sooner on jump balls. Maybe he's not a jump ball guy. He's an effort guy.
Right.
Jump ball?
No, the other one.
I don't even know what I said.
I don't know either.
I don't either. He's having too much fun in there.
Yeah. I mean, with the speed that he has, he doesn't get a lot of separation, but that's probably right up the Bills' alley.
Right, that's fine.
That's right up the Bills' alley. Oh my gosh! Remember when we used to be obsessed with separation? Mm-hmm. Like the John Brown and the Emmanuel Sanders
when
and the Cole
Beasley. Right.
Exactly. That was in that offense, we needed those physical downfield guys. And now that we have physical guys, they can't get downfield
at all.
You know, it's weird.
And for Nate, for Steve and Columbus, just because you're in Columbus, Ibuka. No, I didn't mention him because I don't think the Bills can have a logical shot at getting him unless they trade up. So I didn't even bother. We were trying to stay within not making our fans hate us for taking a wide receiver like in the number 20 trade up to get it. We were trying to be, more of a
the Buffalo Bills trade up to the 3rd pick overall
for Jack Bech. I've been like that would be my day. It would be over before it started. I'm like, what just happened?
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Jack, yeah, you know what? TD, and that long story short, and my comrade over here will tell you, TD was somebody that I watched before we started this show. Yeah. And I really, I didn't idolize TD because I don't idolize people, but he was somebody I was like, you know what? I could probably do that. I could be like that. So and I've said to him, he hasn't really responded, but I've said to him that you're inspirational. We're about the same age. I think he's a year or so younger than me, but him, Rico and all sorts of people that you guys are all watch are people that I tried to model what we do on here after. And this is my comrade, so he just graciously asked me to come along for the ride with him. But I'm just thankful that you guys see.
This is not just this. You are a part of the show. So
I know he trying to be humble like that. Like this. That's not real humility.
If you ever say that real humility, I will humble you. I will humble you every single time. I'm telling you that this is not just Pops the show. This is the Post Play Podcast. Hope show no sodium.
I said humidity. I meant to say
I was humility. I was going to leave it alone.
Humility.
I was just in my head like, you got it.
Nah, it's not real moist temperature.
It's not
real moist.
It's not moist.
Judy wasn't ready for that one. No, but
you ruined that moment.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, look, the idea. thank you, Jack, by the way, for the comment. We are gonna make an effort to try and get TD on the show as well as a few other people. But I, just to kind of give everybody who's been watching, maybe 2 or 3 episodes, that's who we are. Like we like to take a very grounded and realistic approach to our football team. We love them. We want them to win, but I think it's okay to question decisions. I think it's okay to criticize moves, especially when they don't equal the ultimate goal, which is a Super Bowl. Now, if we had spent the last 9 years winning a Super Bowl every year,
we wouldn't be here.
We probably wouldn't have a show, and that's not to say that we wouldn't be able to say anything positive about the team. That what that simply means is if everything is just great all the time, then how interesting could the conversations be?
That's the thing. It's been done numerous times. Dan Mitchell's Dan Mitchell's Talking Buffaloes, Locked On. I mean, I could do a Locked On show. I could, but when I watch those shows, I want somebody to laugh. I want somebody to have humor. I want somebody to know who I am as a person. I mentioned, but who are we? We're regular dads,
critical thinkers.
That's critical thinkers who just like to talk, and we're really friends in real life. This is years in the making.
Yeah.
I thought Steve's comment was hilarious right there. 840. Yep. Because in true Steve fashion, Jack Best is in play. He slows to hear Bo Bean talks about regretting not getting Puka and can block. Start making the uni.
That is so right, bro. That is so right.
Well, Roy, I'm gonna let you decide because are we realistic or opinionated? Probably a little both, but you tell me. You tell me. We love that we attract all different walks in terms of fandom and so okay. So I want to address this too because I think that gets I think we get kind of misconstrued when it comes to what we put on the show. Mm-hmm.
There is a fine line between opinion and what's the word I'm looking for? An opinion and I'll just say for lack of a better term, an educated conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I have an opinion about something, that's usually opinions are based off of my personal thought, my personal emotion on a subject based on my personal experience, right? What we do on the show, first and foremost, I have sources that are connected to people at One Bills Drive. I've talked to several players. I still do on a regular basis, and I try to get a feel and an understanding for the mind of coaches and players, right? Once you understand how they think and how they process things, it gives you a clearer picture into what possibly happens or what actually happens behind the scenes. For case in point, I'll tell you right now, everything that was in the Tyler Dunne report is real.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just him, guessing on, based off of interviews that he's done and stuff like that. That's a lot of the stuff that we do. We've gotten inside information before. We've talked to people. We've talked to sources. We've kind of torn apart and read between the lines of things that are put out there by the Bills and compared that to what they've actually done, physically and kind of reached these educated conclusions about who the Bills are, how the Bills usually operate, and what they're known, to typically do in certain situations, right? And that takes time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It doesn't just happen right away.
Yeah.
If you go back and you watch our earlier episodes, it was, a lot of it was us reporting stuff that we had heard at that point in time and then talking about it. You know what I mean? And now we're so far removed from the reports because we've already done it. Right. Now it kind of seems like, oh, well, that's just your opinion. Like this is a lot of work.
I can tell you guys, between 2 jobs and being a dad, I have like 9 pages of notes in front of me every time I step before this camera. I literally have 9. I have a Word document and I have an Excel spreadsheet in front of me.
Yeah.
And I have multiple tabs open on my system right here. So when we talk, it might not be something that people want to hear, and I get it. But the thing is, that's the beautiful thing. We have 1,000 people watching the show right now, and everybody's not going to agree. But I challenge and hope that all 1,000 people will come back and tell us what they 100%. Think. Be comfortable. because what we do here is not about, and you guys know, I mean, we give you the forum, and that's what you don't get on a lot of the shows. You don't get the forum to just talk, and that's why I talked about the Pegula thing, because I didn't see a lot of people really respond to it, and I know people have opinions of it. You know, when it comes to the wide receivers, people have opinions. Why do I put the draft picks up on our post? Because I want people to talk, I want people to see. You know, it's not just this show. You're supposed to leave here with more than just this experience. But yeah, when you get comfortable with who we are and really understand that the regulars that we talk about in the chat, it's like family. It really is. This is a family setting. And it's an escape from other things. You know, Laura up there, she said, I can't wait to see how our draft picks irk people's nerves. It's gonna be fun. Love a good crash out. And then Roy said, I love creating controversy. It gives me pleasure. Nathan Oliver said, careful, Roy. Junie will pause you.
Right. Right.
See, I mean, that's really how it is. And Mark, we dig you too. Trust me. You understand. Everybody watching the show, from our humblest humble, we dig you. For real.
Definitely. Billy D said, I like what's happening. I would love to meet y'all and hang out with. Hey, listen.
Bro,
we can set something up, bro.
Yes, sir.
We are a vibe. All three of us are a vibe, man. We are a vibe.
I'm even stranger off the camera. Trust me.
Yeah. So Mark said, I dig you guys. I'll shout out PvP on my Bills Instagram account. That has just 1.5. But bro, that's a lot.
Appreciate it, man.
We appreciate that.
Seriously, we have 600 followers on our YouTube.
Yeah,
so you doing something, bro.
Keep showing the love.
Yeah.
Show the love.
Senke says, this is fam. I put this cast before all others. The purists appreciate that. Coach D's Corner is top tier as well. Okay, so if anybody has seen our Coach D's Corner film review show, that's Damaris Johnson. He used to play for the Bills. He actually started his career with the Dolphins. That's been my pop. You know what I'm saying? He's not my actual dad, but like he's I talk to him every day, all the time. That's
he gives you that spiritual nourishment.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he's also a pastor, but the relationship that I have with him, and the conversations that we have, and getting that insight, and a lot of the people that I have connected with, you know, through him, it has really allowed me and us to kind of, you know, gain that inside perspective. And I think that's what's different about the way that we think. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to Mr. Dilltrail about this. He might shout out, because we get into some real bad debate, not bad debates, but we get it like long, like these texts are so long, it's unbelievable. but we go at it, and like I love doing this stuff because I love having these conversations. I love challenging thoughts and thinking critically. And even me and Laura, like we go back and forth sometimes. It's great. I love it. But this idea that we look at things so negatively with the Buffalo Bills. You know, like I asked this question, and it's funny that who said this? But yeah, so Billy D said, I wish we had this in government. That was my challenge to Mr. Dilltrail earlier today. I actually said this on Friday's episode. I said, if we all second guess the mess out of our government, and we question everything they do, and we question their sincerity and all that kind of stuff, why is it the exact opposite with a football team? You know what I'm saying? Like, a government traditionally is supposed to take precedence over any other entity in our lives, because they are responsible for the policies and procedures and things that get put in place that directly affect our lives in the way we can or can't live it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so here we have a football team that's really just a leisure activity, you know, and we're treating them like every single thing that they do is just pure gold, and they can never do any wrong. Like, to me, that's an unrealistic perspective. And I say unrealistic from the standpoint of not that the people who think that way aren't real, or aren't being real. To them, the winning is real. To them, the success and the camaraderie that's developed because of it, and the fun that they have being one of these top tier teams in the league, gives them a sense of community and liveliness that hasn't been here in 20 years before the previous 9. You know what I'm saying? And so I totally get that. But to think that that's the only level or plane of existence for a Bills fan, I just, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you see people that are coming from that perspective, look at anyone else who disagrees, like, oh, you guys are being negative. I think the truth is always somewhere in the middle of both perspectives. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even with everything that we present on this show, like we do a lot of fact checking and stuff like that. But whenever we present a theory that's based on information that we've heard, we're not coming up here and saying that it's 100% correct. We could absolutely be wrong. And in a lot of ways, I think we hope we're wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's the beautiful thing about it. If you have, you get, like, for me, I don't have insights, or I have nothing. So if something pops up on Twitter, something pops up on Instagram, something like that, I'll go research it. Or if I have a thought, there's been times. Junior, get ready. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. There's been times when I've been in the shower and my phone on top of the cabinet next to my shower, and you're a little too eager. Anyway,
no, go ahead.
So. A thought will pop in my head, and I'll grab my phone while I'm in the shower, and I'll type it in my phone. I'll put a note, research this later.
Okay.
And no,
that's not a pause.
Okay, cool. I made it. That was as bad as it's going to get. So then I'll get, I'll research. I'll have links. I got, I got posts. I got this. I got that. Who said what? And I think for me, what I love about where I sit is the fact that I'm like every fan. I don't, you guys may have inside sources I don't have, but I just dig through the weeds. I listen to all the press conferences, listen to all the podcasts. When I'm working, I got a podcast on. When I'm driving, it's a podcast. Like, literally, basketball is my favorite sport, but football you would think is my life, because I'm really researching the Bills at all times.
Yeah.
And trying to keep information I have from you and Mac and June. It's hard sometimes because I want it to be, want it to be fresh for you guys as well. So I watch what I post, what I tweet, and I watch, what I put on the post on our YouTube channel. But just hop over, man. I'm doing all these draft profiles and second, third. You want to hear my latest mock draft?
Sure.
Okay. Guys at home, you want to hear it? This is what we did. I made trades this time because I wanted to try to get to 3 second-round picks. So what I did was I traded with Tampa Bay. I gave up the 30th for a second this year and a 4th next year. So I got pick 53. With that pick, I got Trey Amos. Okay. So that worked out well. So I said, you know what?
Know what we now know about his background and stuff like that.
So that worked out well. So,
oh my gosh!
After Trey Amos, I ended up getting. I waited and sat there and waited for 56, our next pick, and I got Isaiah Bond, which Steve also let us know there is some kind of background. We need to vet these guys better, but whatever. Yeah. Isaiah Bond is actually in for a whole 30 visit, a top 30 visit. So,
well, that means he's not getting drafted then.
Probably.
That's usually that's the way the Bills do it. Just so everybody knows,
it's all smoke screens.
That's an actual big pattern that the Bills have had.
It really is.
You actually pointed that out a couple years ago.
Sucks.
Like they don't draft whoever they bring in.
They really don't. Like, their first guy is almost never. They need to shift the paradigm. Maybe Joe Marino was right. They're evolving.
We'll see if that's true.
I think, what was it? Was it Trey Amos? They had a video chat with somebody. I forget who it was. I can't remember. Then with the second, the 3rd second-round pick, I got Alfred Collins. How did I get 97? So I ended up. No. Okay, this is where you're gonna hate me. What I did was I traded down from 62 to 63 with them. The Chiefs.
No way.
I didn't realize it was them until I just looked at this here. I know. Flag on the play, pause, all that stuff.
Thank you.
I'll even give you time to find the correct button.
The fact it's taking that long to find a button is crazy.
You got it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So I gave him the 60.
What?
He killing me here. And they gave me the 63rd.
You gave it to who?
I give it to them. It really stops me from talking. I like that.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. So when I really go out to him, it's a butt. So I returned. I got a 7 and a 6 next year. And that's how I got Alfred Collins.
Okay, all right. You probably should have just started and ended with Alfred Collins.
I know, but I got to tell you how I traded. Okay, so I traded away the 91st pick. I got the 91st pick from Baltimore.
All right. Baltimore. We'll allow that.
And I traded away one of our 4th and a 6th for the 91st pick. So that got me 4 picks in the top 100, which was what I was going for. I got Joshua Farmer. defensive tackle out of Florida.
Bro, who are you pointing at, bro?
Can I wait for somebody to slander me?
You can't, no, because
Okay.
key. Damn. No, bro.
It was like you like some sort of law enforcement. I see you. I see you slandering me right now, sir. You
I can feel the slander. So what I did after that, 132 was ours. I kind of just played it straight from there. I got David Walker, defensive end out of Central Arkansas. I think he's 6'4", 260. He's an edge rusher, but he has some kind of run stop ability. So I kind of liked him there.
Okay, real quick. We want to thank Josh Richardson for sending in this this super chat here. He says Kyle Williams is the wide receiver I think the Bills need. Thank you very much, Josh. Can you respond to that real quick? Kyle Williams, I know we talked about him a little bit earlier, but in these mock drafts, do you think he's going to be available for the Buffalo Bills to draft?
Well, let's see. I mean, could I have the whole draft here?
Okay.
He went 130. So he actually went pick 130. That's a fourth round. So in theory, yes, he would be there. We could make a move for him if we wanted to. But what I did with the 169th pick, I took Ty Felton from Michigan. From Maryland. When I told you about the silky route runner, speed guy, that's somebody I really don't think the Bills fans would really hate at all. Let's see, wide receivers Higgins.
Doug got you.
Prince let Prince do mock draft trade. Yes, I know. And you know it's funny, Doug. I didn't realize it until I just told you who I traded with, because I was doing it when I was like doing it fast.
Yeah.
And it said, they pop up say accept or reject. I said, cool, accept.
Oh, you didn't even see who it was?
No, I was like, oh no. Oh no. We're family, right? We're family.
Please don't disown me.
I saw him moving back from 62 to 63 and they were giving me stuff. I said, take it, because I was trying to get stuff.
Giving me stuff. You giving me stuff?
Except Chiefs. Oh God, what have I done?
That's right.
So with 170, the back-to-backs. Huh?
What is happening over there?
It's a lot of wholesome goodness.
Stuff. Yeah, we picked 170. I took Zah Frazier, UTSA Roadrunner cornerback. He's about 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". He's 25 years old, so he's pretty old, but he's an interception maven. He does play zone really well. Got speed to his foot. Now, this is where you guys are going to notice that I am actually very, very impartial. I'm objective. With the pick with 173, I took Brashard Smith out of SMU, the running back. Bye, James.
Yeah.
Bye, James.
I mean, I feel for you, bro. Like that was your guy.
I named him Himbo. So wherever he goes, if he's here at Himbo, they need to send me a check.
We'll make sure we propagate that.
We gotta propagate that. Yeah. Wherever he goes, I'm gonna send a message.
Yeah,
I need a check.
I hope there's a guy named Famous Jameis.
Did they trademark that yet? We need to trademark all these. That's what we need to do.
Trey who?
I mean, it's probably all these names. It's too late now. We have over 1,000 people watching.
Yeah, we have.
Somebody's probably doing it.
We've done it. Yeah, it's sent. So yeah, Brashard Smith is definitely the kind of running back that you guys would enjoy receiving. He actually was a receiver. Before he went to SMU, he transferred over, became a running back. He's got the wiggle. He's got the foot speed. Huh?
He said the wiggle.
Yeah, you can't say wiggle.
He has.
You didn't watch the Wiggles as a kid?
I'm just playing, like, dang. I can't troll for sometimes.
Yeah, you can, but you didn't watch the Wiggles as a kid? Fruit salad.
Oh.
Yummy.
Year I was born?
I don't know.
I was born in 2003.
I know what year you were born. That's what I was saying.
I was thinking about the song. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Okay, that I know.
Yeah, you know.
So I took Malachi Moore as a depth safety at 206. That's what 6th round. And lastly, because my other guy is probably out of here, Benjamin Urasek from Texas, tight end. That last pick, 251. He's a great blocker. He actually does have receiving ability. I think he's got a lot of untapped talent. So those are guys that you definitely want to take a look at if you got some off time to do some draft prep. Trey Amos at 53, Isaiah Bond at 56, Alfred Collins 63, Josh Farmer at 97, David Walker at 132, Ty Felton 169, Zah Frazier 170, Brashard Smith 173, Malachi Moore from Alabama 206, Ben Urasek at 251.
Really quick before we jump out the window, tight end for the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
should we, in your mind, should we expect much of anything from
Kincaid
this season?
If they use him the way they did last year, no, not at all. They have to redo how they use him. He has to be intermediate. He has to be a crosser guy. He has to be somebody that has a comeback route. Those kind of things where he can be a receiver where he doesn't have to like track the ball. It has to be something where he, Knox is the seams guy.
It seems like Knox is a better fit as a deep threat, just because of his speed and athleticism, and the way that they've used Kincaid. They've really just blown this expectation out of proportion.
He was ready.
I know.
I was getting ready to say I was getting ready to say, but you know what?
Ready to hit the button.
I'm
so glad he don't have a button in there. That thing could be hit every 30 seconds.
You just saved your life. You just saved opportunity.
Pretty much.
But I think like just the way that they've put these guys in position to not have success. It's a matter of usage.
Mm-hmm.
Like we who was talking about? Somebody was talking about. It might have been Jeremy. You know what's funny? Jeremy White is slowly and surely becoming one of us.
He's your new guy,
right? Like during the season, it was like, Jeremy, why are you so in love with what's going on? And then after the season, Jeremy's like, oh, the defense is terrible. The defense needs to be fixed. The Bills are using their tight ends wrong. They don't have good receivers. We need blue chippers. Like all this stuff that he's saying is like, yo, we've been saying this for 2 years.
Yeah.
But
he's not being paid by the Bills at this point in time.
No, that's probably what it is. Even though they're still the station of the Buffalo Bills. So this idea that we desire weapons, and in my humble opinion, I think we have two weapons at tight end that have been massively underutilized, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the attraction or the vacuum that was created by Amari Cooper not coming back, Mac Hollins not being here, we're all looking at wide receiver as this, you know what, screw it. We're looking at it as this hole we have to fill, right? And
what? I'm sorry. Hold on, bro. Let's
get it out of the way. Say pause.
No,
it's right. So anyway,
that's an ultimate pause right there.
Okay, ultimate pause.
But he knew though. It was premeditated.
Right. I served it up on a silver platter. The fact that we are looking at that wide receiver position and saying like that's the spot that we have to fill, and we're looking at Josh Palmer. I said spot, not hole. And we're looking at Josh Palmer as this free agent acquisition that's going to come in and solidify that for us. And meanwhile, we have two guys on the offense that could quite possibly destroy defenses if used properly.
If they weren't misused, they were. Yeah. And Laura said, honestly, if what they said about Kincaid, I don't want to hear about his injury because guess what? He was fine.
Exactly.
He was fine. He wasn't bad.
He was healthy enough to almost make one of the greatest catches in NFL history in that AFC Championship game.
Should have thrown it to Knox.
Well, yeah, that too.
That's the thing. It should have been Knox. But the thing is, like I said, he's never been that guy. Like that's never been his thing. If you notice, every time they throw a ball, it's similar to that throw that they had right there. He said, "Now you want to be stingy with the pause?"
Laura said, "Okay, now Judy want to be stingy with the pause."
But yeah, every time.
Hold on. The pause is my thing, so watch out. All right.
He said, "So
hold on, man.
So watch out."
That's my thing, Laura. Back up.
You in trouble now, Key. You might have to come up with another catchphrase.
I got a couple of them.
So don't worry, I'm gonna sell them too.
I'm gonna get a couple of shirts made with my catchphrases. Y'all can buy them on the store. But yeah, no, I think Laura, had he been used properly, the injury wouldn't have been a thing for him. It would have been you would have saw something different out of Kincaid. The 80 catches he had his rookie year. Kind of weird he had 80 catches his rookie year intermediate versus last year when they tried to throw deep to him, he didn't catch anything.
Right.
That's the difference here. Let's see. DJ 37, Pearson from Tennessee, sack master. You're right. But I put him with Mike Green and Ezraku. They're guys that the Bills don't covet because they can't run stuff. If you haven't noticed the trend with these guys, they have to have guys that do more than one thing that they're supposed to be doing very well. Right. They have to have. So I like if we're gonna skip ahead just for a second, I'm not gonna go deep into them for another show. But Nick Scorton, Jalen Ivey from Ole Miss. If you're looking at, I would see him swinging up for Shamar Stewart. That'd be the one blue chipper that they might try to get it at in the first round that they might trade up for. But outside of that, I don't see Mike Green being a bill. I don't see James Pierce being a bill. I don't see Ezaraku. None of those guys. I'm thinking about. Honestly, as much as I don't like it, I'm thinking Landon Jackson's going to be a bill. I really do. I think Landon Jackson out of Arkansas is going to be a bill. 6'6", 6'7", 260.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any pass rush moves. He's a good run stuffer. But that's the kind of guy they like. They
and
like
he's going to be there in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second they'll probably take him. I think they're going to reach him.
Are you serious? Whoa, that would be so rough.
Because I describe him as a guy that you take if you don't have Greg Rousseau. And the Bills said, we got Rousseau. We gave him a contract. We like Rousseau. Give us another one.
They would be essentially putting a guy in the pipeline after Joey Bosa's gone next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% risk. What else was I want to address? I think that might have been it. But yeah. No, I think that's it. I think that's all I had. Yeah, that's all I saw. Right. So Steve said you sound like Rod Tip. Well, when you yell, I wish I would have heard it because I got to go back to it now.
Wait, who's Rod Tidwell?
From Jerry Maguire.
Oh, okay.
Show me the money. Right. Congratulations, you're still my agent.
Doug says, I agree. Use the TEs. Team has never taken advantage of the tight end middle seam route. It's there and it's been successful the couple times that they've managed to get it called.
Yep.
If you go back and look at some of the tape review that we did earlier in the season when they were trying to do this everybody eats thing, from a purely West Coast perspective, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of the seam stuff was being anticipated by the defense. I mean, the Jaguars and the Cardinals especially came out there specifically looking to shut down the seam routes.
Was that the game where they had like 5 guys on Kincaid and they're like, oh, look at her, he's taking everybody away from it. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah. So I mean, I think you have to show they're going to use it. That's the thing that messed them up. They ran it and they were no threat anymore. So they're like, oh, he's doing this every time because it became very predictable.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they got to clean up. And DJ, yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. So great show tonight. I'll be back on Friday. Go Bills. Yes, sir. We'll bring the same heat then. It'll be at 6:00 on Friday though, just so you know, just 6:00.
Yes. Yeah. We started an hour later tonight. We thank everybody for hanging with us so late.
Because I have to work certain times to 7, so I have to like mosey and hustle up. So yeah, so when I do that, we got to adjust sometimes. I'm glad my man is gracious. Sir?
I need this channel to rise up so Key won't have to work anymore. So Key can have this job full time, being a podcast co-host.
So that's why you give him a mic. I like that.
Yeah, this is why we gave him a mic. That's it. Just for those moments right there. All right, we're gonna go ahead.
Crazy.
We're gonna go ahead and
take
this. What's crazy? What's crazy?
It is, man.
That we gave you a mic to say nice things about us. That's the only reason you have a mic.
Only nice stuff.
Yeah, that and pause and nice things about us. That's your job.
When you have producer cues, those things as well. Oh, he can still see me though.
You can still see me.
You see this, right?
Right here. I'm on camera.
Ignore them, family. Fam.
No, look at me.
They gave me
I
a
am
mic.
the captain now.
So I can
express
my inner AO, moments, all right?
All right, we got.
But yeah, you know what he needs more than the AO moments. He needs some Reese tea, man. I'll tell you right now, because he got the water in there, but he should have had Reese. Had he had Reese tea,
I can't even drink this water now.
No, because had he had Reese tea, he wouldn't have missed some of those pause moments. There were premium real estate pause moments in there.
It's hard to be salty when you got Reese tea.
Oh, it's hard because you stay fresh because it's one piece refreshing, one piece delicious, 2 pieces of healthy. That's what you can expect when there's only 4 ingredients, which we've already heard. There are only 4 ingredients in this drink. And let me tell you, I don't drink tea, but that's a good drink there. What are you doing? At the Reese, get yourself a supply of the cases, or just go ahead and get an individual. I said that like that because why would you do that? You won't be disappointed if you get the case. Trust me, I know. But what do I know? See for yourself. Reese Tea. Click the link in the description below. Use the code PPP to let them know who sent you.
No doubt. All right. For those of you who have been paying attention to the last few episodes, you might have noticed no glitches, no wonky noise, or no issues with sound or anything like that. We've been consistently hitting on all cylinders. We got this thing popping only because my man Rich from High Mic High Tech. It's a family-owned business. This man takes his craft extremely seriously. I can go to him for all the best news and information in the tech field when it comes to cell phones, when it comes to gaming systems, when it comes to computers, when it comes to anything tech. This is the guy you want to go to, okay? He's built the computer that I use here when I had my production business, making beats and recording, artists and all that kind of stuff. He just built me another computer that I do my video editing and all that other kind of the graphic design and everything on there. That's a computer that's gonna last me for 10 years, and he made that for me. Right. So if you want to get a hold of something like that, or if you need some kind of repair or something like that, give Hi Mike High Tech a call, or you can hit him online. I think it's HiMikeHighTech.com. But make sure you check him out. All right. Aside from all that, we got to jump out the window. So here we go. Music start. All right, there we go. Hopefully that's not too loud. I know. Hopefully that's not too loud.
Like a sudden pause right there. I was like,
all the tech. He just talked about the music. Like,
right. Can you imagine
the real bold there for a minute.
All right, so we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Post Podium podcast tonight. Listen, if you like what you heard and you want to see more, we've got plenty of content available for you wherever you want to catch your podcast. We are on Spotify. We are on every single platform when it comes to podcasts. They are up there in video form, so you can watch us or you can listen to us at your leisure. If you want to get even closer to us and get into our immediate family, the inner circle, you can head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got a membership program there. We're starting to build out a lot of the content that's going to be going into that. Right now, what we have is a Discord server where you can text us and you can send notifications. You can communicate with us in any way you like. We usually respond to comments and all that kind of stuff within 24 hours in general, because we just love hanging out and talking with y'all. So however you want to hit us up, you can hit us up there. You can DM us on social media. We're on all social media platforms, so feel free. Okay. As far as what else? Merch. That's right. I can't forget merch. All of these links for everything that we have to offer you guys and all the ways that you can get in contact with us, it's in the description of this video. Right, there's 3 links at the bottom of the screen here too that you should be able to get a hold. That's all our social media stuff. So we've made ourselves fully available to everybody who's interested. With that being said, if there's anything that you want to see us talk about, or any ideas for show topics and stuff like that that you want to hear about, send it in. We're all for it. Right, we'll absolutely take that information, fit it into whatever we plan on doing for the next episode, or if we've got to put it in the episode after that. That's what we're here for. We eventually want to be at a position where we're doing this full time for you guys and giving you the content that you need and the content that you deserve. With that being said, this has been Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
And I have been doing my grocery laundry list. Oh, this is 40 keys. Have a good one, y'all.
All while my clothes out. And
this is AO producer in the building.
See, I was about to get you, the AO producer.
And also, I have made a gaming channel, so please subscribe to it so I can,
What's the name? We can't see it. What's the name?
Babyface Assassin.
Babyface Assassin.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right, let me subscribe to that. I will do that right now.
Stay tuned to my first video soon. I will make one shortly, but stay tuned to that.
My guy.
All right. Thank y'all very much for catching us today. We will see you guys Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all have a great night.